Welcome back to episode 7 of the Lyin podcast. I'm Adrian. We got Isaiah, AJ, and we have my brother Xavier Lerma in the cut today.
Big alarm.
Sorry if I sound a little under the weather. I'm definitely sick as balls. I'm just really sick. To start off the episode, we're going to do the NFC East predictions. We're going to go game by game through each of the 4 teams. And I think AJ had some stuff he wanted to say about each 4 teams to start us off.
Yeah, well, first I want to start off and say that the NFC East is crazy. There's been a different divisional winner for the last 20 years. No team has won back-to-back for 20 years straight. So sorry, you two Cowboys fans. I don't think you're going to do it this year. But I'll talk about some of the offseason moves. We'll start with the Cowboys. They didn't do much, honestly. I think their biggest move was getting Eric Kendricks. They lost Leighton Vander Esch. They picked up Tyler Gooden in the draft. I like him. I think he's a good offensive lineman from Oklahoma. But they lose Tony Pollard and Tyron Smith, and then Michael Gallup retires. So not a great offseason for the Cowboys, in my opinion. Washington had a pretty interesting offseason, in my opinion. They get Dan Quinn as head coach. They pick up Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, and then a lot of offensive line help. They tried to revamp that offensive line. Obviously.
When they got
big draft pick in Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Yep, big draft pick in Jaden Daniels. They lose Curtis Samuel, but they also picked up Luke McCaffrey in the draft to kind of replace him. The Giants, terrible offseason as well, in my opinion. They did get Brian Burns from the Panthers. I like that pickup. Obviously, they drafted Malik Neighbors, good wide receiver out of LSU. And then you lose Saquon Barkley. That's the biggest one there. It's just a killer for your franchise. They also lost Xavier McKinney, but they did pick up Devin Singletary from the Texans. He's not no Saquon Barkley, but try to help out your running game. And then the Eagles, I think they had the best offseason out of all these teams. Obviously, they get their division rival, Saquon Barkley. Big shout out to Cooper DeJean from Iowa. I thought that was a pretty good draft pick. They also got C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. They had him in 2022. He went to the Lions. They just picked him up on a 3-year deal. And then they also got Devin White from the Buccaneers. So I thought that was pretty good. Obviously, their biggest loss of the offseason, in my opinion, was Jason Kelce in retirement. And then they also lost Hassan Reddick to the Jets. Last year, NFC East records went like this. The Cowboys went 12-5. The Eagles went 11-6. The Giants went 6-11. And the Commanders went 4-13. So I think we should get right into it.
Yikes.
We'll start with the Commanders because I honestly think they'll have the biggest jump from last season to this season. I think they could be pretty solid this year, depending on how Jaden Daniels plays. Week 1, they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against Baker Mayfield. I'd probably have Tampa winning this game.
I'd agree.
That's L.
All right. Like I said, I think the Buccaneers get a win right here. On to week 2, they got the Giants at home, and I kind of see them splitting with the Giants. I think they could win this game.
Yeah,
You don't think so, Xavier?
Giants winning?
No.
Commanders.
Commanders
win this game.
Yeah, they don't split though.
You don't think they split? Week 3, Cincinnati Bengals, that's going to be a loss. Week 4, I would give this a loss as well.
Against? What are you?
Against?
Oh, my bad. Week 4 against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. I would give this a loss.
I'll give it to the Cardinals.
Week 5 against the Browns, I'd also give this a loss. They are at home, but the Browns are just a way better football team. Week 6, the Ravens, they have a tough schedule. They have the Ravens. They're in Baltimore. I think that's probably a blowout. Week 7, they have the Panthers at home. I could see that being a close game. Bryce Young hasn't really impressed me. I don't really know who I'd give it to, though. Probably the Commanders.
I'll give it to the Commanders.
Just the Panthers?
Yeah.
Yeah, give it to the Commanders.
Week 8 against the Chicago Bears, I would give it to the Bears.
I'll take the Bears.
I got Commanders on that one.
You got Commanders?
Yeah.
I think that could be a very good game, but
I think
who's
so.
at home?
The Commanders are at home.
I think the Bears did a lot of things to make their football team better, though, or at least make their offense better. So
It is with both these teams. You get to see how these rookies are going to play. The Bears obviously have the better rookie and the better wide receivers. So I guess we'll chalk that up as what, the Bears or the Commanders?
that's a loss.
Majority.
Bears.
Bears.
Yeah, it's majority.
Yeah.
Week 9 in New York against the Giants. I had them splitting, but Xavier didn't agree. What do you guys think?
I do think the Giants could be like a generationally bad football team this year. I'm not gonna lie. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with the Commanders taking both of those.
I'm actually cool with it too. I mean, Daniel Jones is kind of buns. Yeah, they don't have fun. They don't have Darren Waller even.
Yeah, they aren't getting any better.
They got way worse. Week 10 against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It just depends on what the quarterback situation is for the Steelers.
It
I don't think it
depends
matters
on who's
at all.
starting, TBH.
You don't think so?
If Russell's
The
starting,
defensive wise.
Justin's starting, I'll take the Steelers.
Defensive wise, I don't think that game matters.
I think the Steelers' defense might be too good.
I think the Steelers, yeah.
Week 11 in Philadelphia against the Eagles. It's probably a loss. Week 12 against the Dallas Cowboys at home. I'm going to say that's a loss as well.
I can see the Commanders splitting with the Eagles or Cowboys at one point. It's going to be one of them. I could just see that shit happening.
I mean, I could definitely see that being a game that one of us drops.
Yeah.
So what do you want to – are we doing loss or win?
I don't think that's it. The Eagles are at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're losing.
Yeah, I don't see the Commanders winning on the road.
I'll take the Eagles.
I agree. And then the Cowboys in Washington. I still see it as a loss for the Commanders, but
It'll probably be a very close game. I went to fucking Cowboys.
or it's a blowout. It depends.
In between.
It's not Thanksgiving, is it?
I
think week 14. No, not 14.
No, it's definitely it's November 24th.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
But it's on a Sunday, so it's not Thanksgiving.
I'll take the Cowboys. I don't really.
The Cowboys.
13 against the Titans in Washington. I see the Titans probably losing.
I'll take the.
I think they can steal it.
Week 14 is a bye. Week 15 in New Orleans against the Saints.
No, they're winning that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Week 14. I'll take the Commanders.
I think I'm gonna go with
Toss-up.
Commanders as well.
I definitely think it's a toss-up.
I guess AJ, what are you voting for?
I'll take the Commanders in that game. I don't think the Saints are going to be that good this year.
I don't think so either. Week 16, the Eagles again, this time in Washington. I still probably see that as a.
I think
Commanders
that game
gonna have-
depends on.
What week is
I think
it?
that game 16, right?
Yeah, that could be
Week
like
16.
a game where the subs are in or something. You know what I mean?
Could be.
Give me a Commanders dub.
For me,
I mean, we saw the
I
Eagles
think-
last year in the second half of the season drop games like this over and over again.
I'm going to take the Eagles because I think it's going to be a game they're going to need to win the NFC or at least win their division.
Mhm.
I agree. Week 17 against the Falcons. I think this could be actually a pretty good game.
Bon Benna.
Comes down to whoever's defense is better.
I think the Falcons' defense would be better. And their offense, too.
I think the Falcons have just a little bit too much for them boys.
I think so,
I
too.
think the Falcons would be right next with the Buccaneers. I think they're going to try and win that game. So I'd lean towards the Falcons.
Week 18, we got in Dallas.
That's the one I think the Commanders will
It's
probably
probably
take.
fucking the one.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
gonna
That makes us
fucking
lose
Just because,
the-
I mean, you guys will probably sit everybody. You're a regular season team. Like, every year,
How
consistently.
close we are with that one spot, if we're in it or if we need it. But I could see
Probably
I
doesn't.
could
It
see
doesn't
us
fucking
dropping
matter.
it.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably, by that time, it's probably, the seating's going to be set, I'd assume.
Yeah. I'll give it the Commanders. That's
Yeah.
fine. So what's our total?
We have the Commanders going 6-11.
That's
I
not
think
that
that's
bad.
fair.
I think that's fair. They went 4-13 last year. I think that's fair. I do think they got quite a bit better. It will depend a lot on how Jaden Daniels plays. But I think I'm fine with 6-11.
Next, we can do the New York Giants. They start off the season at home against the Minnesota Vikings.
Let's run this by. Fucking Vikings.
Lost.
That's probably an L. Commanders, we
Yeah.
had that as an L.
Lost.
Yeah, Daniel
Browns.
Jones is out by week 5.
Browns, that's an L. Cowboys, that's an L. Seattle Seahawks, week 5.
Lost.
That's a loss. Week 6, Cincinnati Bengals, that's a loss. Week 7, Philadelphia Eagles, that's a loss. Week 8, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Could be their dub. That could be their
You're
dub.
bugging.
No, it could be their dub.
They figured it out around now. They know the playbook and they know what they're doing, huh?
I'm good.
No, that's probably a loss.
I don't know.
I think if they are going to win a game early in the season, it will be that Commanders game. But I think they're going to be a terrible team.
Think of the Commanders. We had them losing that game week 9. Week 10 against the Panthers.
That's gonna be
Give
their
them one.
Super Bowl. That's the Super Bowl right
That's
there.
gonna be
That's their Super Bowl.
Toilet
That's
bowl.
the toilet bowl.
Give 'em
Toilet
one.
bowl.
Yep.
Give them one.
the Tank Bowl.
Give 'em
I'll
that.
give them one.
I don't know.
I'll take them.
They get their first win in week 10.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's insane.
And might not get another one.
Week 11 is a bye. Week 12 we got Tampa,
L.
Cowboys,
L.
Oh.
Saints. Maybe.
How bad do we think the Saints are going to be this year?
Did they gain or lose anything?
Lose to the
Marshawn
Commanders
Lattimore still on that
and the
team?
Giants?
Marshawn Lattimore's still there. I think Alvin Kamara's still there.
Give me the Saints.
Chris Olave. Yeah, I'll take the Saints too.
Yeah, sure.
Baltimore Ravens. Week 15.
We don't even need to talk about that.
That's an L. Week 16, the Falcons.
It's probably not.
It's in Atlanta. It's probably an L.
Yeah.
Week 17, the Colts.
I mean,
L.
L.
No, L.
I don't know. I think the Colts might be kind of decent.
Yeah, unless Anthony Richardson's hurt.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm banking on him
I mean,
playing.
Yeah.
still.
And they have Joe Flacco if he does get hurt. So
Yeah, they could be decent.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Colts. Then last week, Eagles. Depends if the Eagles are sitting.
Yeah.
We can give it to them. Give them 2 wins.
I'll give him the win.
Fuck it. Let's be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just not going to be a favorite at all in any of these games.
Yeah.
I mean, like crazy
It-
stuff happens in the NFL, but
Yeah. I
I'm
think
not-
the only 2 games that might be interesting is I think we gave them the Panthers and then maybe a Commanders split.
I definitely
maybe.
think they're going to be like
Give me the Saints.
the Pistons of the NFL. Like, we don't want to lose to that team.
Mm-hmm. So we have them at 2-15.
elite squad.
Number 1 pick, probably.
Yeah, and it better be Jesus. Up next, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 1 against the Packers. I think that's gonna be a tough
L.
I think so too.
L.
I think an L.
So the Eagles they have a new offensive coordinator. So I think it might take them a little bit again, especially against those good teams to get going. So I think this is one easily lose.
I could definitely see it too. They lose Jason Kelsey. Their defense isn't really all that good. They did get better, but it depends on how much they can mesh together and really play as one.
I'm pretty high on the Packers too this year. I think
I am too.
Jordan
Sadly.
Love's going to get significantly better. So.
But yeah, we'll chalk that up as an L. Week 2, at home and against Atlanta.
So,
I'm going to give them a win, but I think it's going to be by 3 or 6 points. Week 3 against the Saints, I'd probably give that a W.
probably as a dub. Plus that.
Week 4, revenge game in Tampa.
W.
I think it's a W as well. Week 5, bye. It's a really early bye. Week 6 against the Cleveland Browns. I think that could be a good game.
It's a better matchup to me than the fucking than the Packers, if you want to be honest.
The Packers, probably.
I'd be comfortable letting them lose this game, but I don't think they'll lose to the Packers. So I'll give them this game if you guys are giving them the Packers.
Well, I was going to give them the Rams coming up. I thought they were going to lose to the Rams coming up. So I was going to give them the win against the Browns.
We can do that, I guess. I could see them dropping this game against the Browns, though. But also, Deshaun Watson might just be buns. So.
Nick Chubb's back.
Yeah. So is Saquon. We'll give him the win. That's fine.
Yeah, the Eagles.
We'll give him a win. Week 8 in Cincinnati. I'm probably leaning towards the Bengals.
No, Bengals defense ain't gonna freaking hold up against.
But Joe Burrow probably.
Joe Burrow is the better quarterback.
Joe Burrow probably put up like 40 on him.
Burrow is the better quarterback, but
and
they got the better offense and defense. So defense
Higgins,
Oh, you think he's gonna be gone, or did they franchise tag him?
Yeah, he hasn't gotten paid yet, right?
They tagged him. No, they franchise tagged him.
Oh,
yeah,
they
did.
I don't know. They lose Joe Mixon, not a big deal.
Yeah, but they got Zach Moss, and he played pretty well last year.
Zach Moss is really good.
I think they're in Cincinnati. I think towards the Bengals.
Because I'm cool with the Bengals winning this, but they are not losing to the Packers, bro. I'm not going to get off that. They're not losing to the Packers.
I don't think they're beating the Bengals.
I think
the Bengals are going to win.
The Bengals either.
No, not beating the Bengals. I mean, they are beating the Bengals.
2-2 right now?
Yeah.
He's tied.
A good game.
I don't know.
Saquon's going to have a great game that day. Watch. At least 130.
Okay, we'll give it to the Eagles because they's not budging on the Packers. We'll give it to the Eagles.
Week 9 against the Jaguars. It's probably a W. Week 10 in Dallas.
They're going to split.
I'll split them.
Like they do every year. At Dallas?
This one's in Dallas.
Yeah, they're going to just fucking split it. So I'll give it to Dallas since they're in Dallas.
They play really fucking well in Dallas, too, so.
Yeah. Commanders. Is this the one we had them winning or no?
Commanders?
Go check.
Oh, it's week 18 or 17.
It's week 7.
I think it was a later one. So we got the Eagles win this one. Week 12 against the Rams. I agree with AJ saying they could lose this game.
They can.
I think this is a game they could drop.
I'm pretty high on the Rams next year. Maybe not as real life contenders, but I think they'll be really good.
This late in the season, I definitely think it depends on Stafford's health and Cooper Kupp's health. But I don't know. If they're firing on all cylinders, I like the Eagles.
That's all I got.
I'm not that high on the
Rams.
Rams.
It really can.
Well, yeah, but a lot of these games, they can go either way. That's the point of picking one.
Oh, yeah. But shit.
Well, for me, guys, I just feel like the Eagles are notorious for dropping a game against an average team. So I think this would be especially coming off the Commanders week. I think they definitely could lose this game.
It is a short week too.
They always start to fall
actually, it's longer. They got 10 days.
They always start to fall off like the second half of the season. So yeah, I'll give it to the Rams. Give it to the Rams.
Week 13 against the Ravens in Baltimore.
Ravens.
I think the Ravens probably win. I don't know.
Great game.
We talked about the AFC North. We talked about the Ravens division. I remember we talked about this game a little bit, and it's a fucking toss-up, dude. It really is.
Well, we had the Ravens going like 15-2.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Ravens.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Week 14, they got a bounce back game against the Panthers. They probably kill them.
They're gonna murder
Yeah.
them.
Week 15 against the Steelers. I want to say
Yeah.
the Eagles win by 6 points again.
It'll probably be a 13-20 game. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could be.
Hmm.
Steelers defense could just fucking hold them pretty
9-6.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
I really think they
I
could.
will say this. I will say this about the Steelers defense. Last year, our run defense was absolutely atrocious. I think Saquon could probably go for about $120 on us and probably 2 touchdowns. So I'd lean toward the Eagles against us.
For sure the
I'm cool
Eagles.
with
For
going
sure the
Eagles.
Eagles. For sure.
Yeah. Eagles.
16 Commanders. This is the one we said they could drop.
Yeah.
So we'll give that an L. And then week 17 is the Cowboys. We have them splitting. So they win this
That's a
one.
W.
And then week
Oh, yeah,
18
that's
against
a
the
W.
Giants. That's a W.
It's a L.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We had an
Giants?
L.
We already
had
That
did
is.
L.
Giants.
Damn, we
Yeah,
have
but like,
spinning
I guess what's the
Commanders
record
and
right now without
Giants?
them week 18? Because do they need to win?
Oh yeah.
They don't
That
need
puts
to
them
win.
at 11-6. That puts them at 11-6 with that last loss.
Beat the fucking Packers.
They're gonna play.
Oh, we can't change.
I'm
I mean,
fine.
can we change?
Honestly, yeah, guys, I'm fine with having the Giants at 1-16.
I'm cool with
totally
Giants winning
fine
one
with that.
game. Switch that shit up, bro. It don't have to be. It don't have to be gospel.
Okay. So
All right.
that finishes the Eagles with 12-5.
12-5. Giants 1-16.
Yep.
I definitely think that.
Last team here
They went
is
12-5 last year, and they fucking added.
They went 11-6 last year, but they started like 10-1.
yeah. It fell
They always
apart.
fall in the second half.
Start off 10-1 again. They're not going to lose the last 5 or 6 games. I guarantee you that.
Last team in the NFC East is the Dallas Cowboys. Week 1, they're playing in Cleveland against the Browns. And I
Great
think
game.
it would be a good game.
That's Sunday night game for sure.
If the Eagles drop in week 1, so are the Cowboys.
That's fucked up. Sure.
I'm kidding. I'm just hating. I think
I
think the Browns defense can cause a lot of trouble for the Cowboys. And if they're in Cleveland and not in Dallas, it's also concerning.
Well, the thing is, our run defense is really bad, but
we don't know if it got better. But Nick Chubb's not going to be fully.
I was gonna say
he's going to split like 25% reps. He's going to like not have that many reps. But
yeah,
who's their
and I
backup?
think our offense is way better than theirs. I think our defense can kind of hang.
Our defense can definitely hang.
I think your defense will win you that game.
Because I don't know. I'm not going to speak on the Browns O-line because I don't know that much on them. Like,
I'll speak on Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson's terrible.
yeah. Unless
That's-
somehow he
that's-
turns into fucking what was it? 2018?
2019.
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
2019?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be stupid crazy if he turns it
when they were up like 24-0 on the Chiefs and lost.
It'd be- I mean, I like Deshaun Watson in the past, but
No, you don't. You don't want to like with Deshaun Watson. You don't want to like
I
him.
don't.
He don't.
I don't like Predators. So that's a W for the Cowboys.
Mhm.
Week 2 against the Saints, I think that's a W as well. It's in Dallas.
It's a W.
It's a
Even
W.
better.
Week
That
3 against the
just boosts it.
Ravens at
That's gonna
home.
be a
I think this should
fucking
be
game.
either we're getting destroyed or it's going to be like a decent game and we lose.
I'll give it the L, but it's going to be between 3 to 7 points either way. I'll give it the L, but it's going to be 3 to 7 points.
I think we lose.
I
But
don't think it looks
You guys,
like
you
the game from last
guys have
year.
been talking. Hang on. You guys have been talking a little bit about Cowboys' run defense. The Ravens did just pick up Derrick Henry, by the way,
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
and you have Lamar. Yeah, you have Lamar as well. So I definitely lean towards the Ravens.
It's an
L.
L.
Yeah,
No, it's an
fuck.
L, but probably.
well, no, that's why I
probably
said like it's a blowout. It's either a blowout or it's a competitive game and we lose either way.
I think it's going to be competitive, but we will lose for sure.
So that's a L.
Mm-hmm.
Week 4 against the Giants, that's a W.
Mm.
Week 5 against the Steelers.
Yeah, no. It's same situation. Not same situation. It's just a fucking worse situation for like the Browns. Like, they're gonna
What's
go-
where's the game at?
It's in Pittsburgh.
In our AFC
Interesting.
North, we had the Cowboys winning this game.
Oh, okay.
So,
I like that.
All right.
I like that.
Week 6 against the Lions. That could be a good one.
Lions.
I think this is an L for you guys.
I could definitely see it. I think we got.
I like the Lions. I'm gonna be honest.
What was the
I think
matchup
I did
last
too.
year? We won, right?
Did
Either team. Oh no. What did the
we
Lions
were?
gain?
There
What did the
was
Lions
like a
gain?
flag or like a bad call or something like that people were pissed about.
Oh, bad.
Oh, it was a reverse touchdown, right? They called a touchdown off or something like that.
No, it was because he didn't check in the game.
Yes.
Mm.
He did not check in the game.
Oh, they ran a trick play and the
They
lineman.
ran a trick play and he
They
did
took
not.
that.
He was
Even though
ineligible
he ran
receiver.
up to the ref.
He could be saying, "Hey, I'm just subbing in the game." We don't know.
He
what
could
the
have
fuck
walked up
happened.
to his head, my balls itch.
Right.
I have no idea what he said to the guy.
I have a crazy rash on my dick right now. Like we don't know.
Sure,
He could literally just be saying he probably did fuck up and say I'm subbing in instead of saying I'm gonna be fucking blah blah blah.
Eligible,
He's
yeah.
fucking up. Yeah, because he's a fucking no lineman. They fuck up.
I'm taking this out of the lineman. I don't trust
I'm
these.
taking the Lions as well. I think they're gonna be pissed.
It also depends on where they play at, because if they are in Dallas, that's a hard game for the Lions to win.
They're in Dallas. I thought we just played at Lions. I mean, I thought we just played it. Okay, yeah.
No, 'cause you go from Pittsburgh and then you have a home game, right?
And
Okay.
week 7 is a bye. Week 8 is in San Francisco.
We win this motherfucker.
I would
we
love
gotta
to say
win
it.
one. We gotta win one in the past 3 years.
I'm
Whatever.
okay with losing. I'm okay with losing this game because I just want to win one in the postseason.
Obviously, the majority's gonna say we lose, so we lose. But we're gonna fucking get one before the postseason, and we're gonna lose in the postseason against them. All right, let me be happy with the fucking regular season W.
I think
Maybe
you
if I
guys
use
beat the
that one.
Packers.
CMC is gonna fucking. Nah.
Yeah, so we'll give that L. Week 9 against the Falcons in Atlanta. I think that's a W. Always fuck up the Falcons.
Yeah. Per usual.
Week 10 in Philadelphia, we had a loss right here, right?
No,
At
they were at home.
Philadelphia.
They're
Wait,
at home first, right?
I thought the first game was in Dallas. That's what you said.
Yeah, they're at home first.
Yeah. First game goes to Dallas.
Oh, yeah. No, this is at home. Yeah, so that's a W. And week 11, we play the Texans.
I don't know about the.
It's a but I kind of want
Can they hang
I
with
kind of
CeeDee
want
Lamb?
to was just for experience.
They got Diggs.
Our defense is
All right,
good.
we got Diggs.
Damn.
Johan, also, we don't know if they're gonna have Diggs because that's a trade deadline. That's trade. They might trade him by fucking deadline. That's
Fuck no.
I'm just saying they're gonna trade him. Watch, they're gonna trade him.
You're not
They don't need him. They don't need him. They don't need that attitude in the fucking locker room.
You're a fucking lunatic.
Dude,
I think this is a win for the Cowboys. I think we win just off like experience and a better defense.
I think it's a very close game.
You said week 11?
I'll lean.
so it's the Battle of Texas. So fuck. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
good
give me the
game.
Texans.
That's it.
Adrian, it's on you. Whatever you go is what it is.
Oh, I went to the Cowboys.
Okay, then we'll give the Cowboys a W.
Week 12 against the Commanders in Washington. Did we have them dropping this game or no?
No, we have
Week 18. Week 18 is when they had the
Okay.
drop.
yeah.
So W. Week 13 against the Giants. W. Here's another good game. Week 14 against the Bengals in Dallas.
God, your guys' schedule is brutal. That's an L.
It's tough.
You're
It
losing
is a
one.
tough-
I don't think it's a no.
You're losing one. games.
I don't think it's a guaranteed L. I can see it going both ways.
We beat the ass Cooper Rush. Shit.
So last time we played them, Cooper Rush put the work on him. He put the paws
And
on
their
him.
team really hasn't changed that much.
Cooper Rush put the
Who
balls
did they
on-
get on defense? I thought they
Jake
had-
Browning? Didn't you play Jake Browning?
Did we?
No, this is 2 years ago. Oh.
Yeah.
See, what are we doing, man? Goodness.
Fuck, man. Shit.
Well, I
We
mean,
don't know.
hey,
Joe-
if
Joe
their
Burrow's
O
gonna
line is really that bad,
I gave you guys the Texans. You guys are losing to the Bengals.
all right, that's
I
fine.
think
But
the fucking Texans are better than the Bengals.
I kind of agree. I'm saying if the Bengals O line is that bad, we're gonna be feasting.
Bengals O-line shit. Fucking defense. I don't even. Did they get anything from defense?
They didn't have any
Yeah.
like huge names. They did upgrade their offensive line though. I will say that.
I did see. I just saw a fucking Instagram post about that. I don't know. They're just tall fuckers. That's all I saw. They just said their height and weight. That's all. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
So are we going? Is this a winner or a loss?
Give us the fucking L, I guess.
Oh.
We'll go with them.
Week 15 in Carolina against the Panthers. That's a win.
Easy one.
Week 16 against Tampa Bay in Dallas.
Take that.
I want to give it a W.
It's gonna be a dub.
Week 17 against the Eagles, we have that as an L.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia. Week 18, last game against the Commanders. That's when we had as an L as well.
I think we need to switch that back because you guys are going to be competing for playoff seeding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
not. I completely.
So what's that? Fucking 8 losses? 7?
So
Yeah.
you give that win. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys are also 12-5.
Damn.
So I don't know how tiebreakers will work, but I kind of like that. I kind of like both of you at 12.
Especially
I do
with
too.
you guys splitting.
Well, no, just
Yeah.
the conference. What was the conference wins? Do we still got Eagles and Cowboys are 12-5, right?
Well, I don't think we had any of them losing to anyone besides ourselves.
Oh fuck. Then I guess it just
So I'm going
goes.
to-
No, it does go to conference after division. So we had
Yeah.
tied in the division. Now it goes to conference.
Okay.
So it'd be conference.
And
record.
we have Cowboys losing to the Niners, and that's like the only one, right?
That's it. I think that's it.
No,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they split. Like you're supposed to have the
Lions.
even
The
amount.
Lions as well. We didn't lose to the Lions as well.
Niners and Lions, and what do the Eagles?
And I think the Eagles, the majority of their losses are in the AFC.
Oh shit.
I don't know. I'm fine with them tying. We'll see how tiebreaker works out. I don't want to get too in depth with it.
It just goes down to the conference.
I love for a division that has had a different winner the past 20 years. I love it going down to a tiebreaker.
Me too.
I do too, honestly.
I think both teams can have. I think both teams' ceilings are 14-3, and both of their floors are 10-6. I think they're gonna stay around in there. I think the Cowboys do have a harder schedule, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
I think we do too.
Cowboys definitely have a harder schedule.
But fucking watch, there's something's gonna happen, and then they're gonna end up saying Cowboys have the easier schedule. It's just how it works every year. Because we got listed as the hardest, second or third hardest schedule last year. I don't even know if that's true. I know we're for sure top 5. And
It's
then
a pretty
we
tough
ended,
schedule.
And then no, I'm talking about last year's. I was sorry. We got listed top 5 for last year's hardest schedule. And then by the end of the year, people were saying we had the fucking easiest schedule, which we kind of did with injuries. But
you can't control.
Well, I will
that.
say I will say this:
that.
the way they do it is preseason when they make the schedules. You guys got first place last year, so you will have a harder
Right.
schedule
yeah,
on paper than the Eagles. But no, I think this division is going to come down to the wire. I think if one of those teams, if they don't split, that'll decide the division right there.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. Well, it was supposed to be last year.
it was supposed to be. Yeah.
And then the Eagles fell apart. Yeah.
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 All right. Up next, we're going to do our top 10 quarterbacks, and after that, we're going to do our top 10 cornerbacks coming into this next season. Here at number 1, I have, of course, Patrick Mahomes. Isaiah?
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that's pretty consensus.
Yeah, everyone have Patrick Mahomes.
Not an argument, really.
At number 2, I have Lamar Jackson.
I'd also have Lamar Jackson at number 2.
Yeah.
At number 3, I have Dak Prescott.
Oh, fucking hell.
Bro.
I can't be bothered.
Them boys.
Xavier?
Continue with the list.
Who's continue with the list?
Okay, Isaiah, who's your 3?
Wait, let's just
Dak Prescott's
make
not
notes.
going over. Dak Prescott's not going over my 3 or 4 in any world. So my 3 is Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
That is my 3 below.
Xavier.
Okay, yeah, fucking Allen's in my 3.
Josh Allen.
Respectfully.
Josh Allen is my 4. I'd assume he's your. Yeah.
Josh Allen is my 4 as well.
Okay.
Okay, let's stop real quick. I know Joe Burrow's coming off an injury, but let's talk about a 2022 campaign real quick because not having him top 4 is ridiculous to me. He threw for 4,475 yards in 2022. He had 35 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. This guy is ridiculously good.
Okay, Dak just threw for 4,536 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Joe's doing that.
That guy is goated.
Joe's doing good offense. So.
But here's
Joe
the
has
argument.
wide receivers too.
He's doing that shit.
In
He also doesn't have any
terms of playmaking, I will take Joe Burrow over Dak Prescott any day of the week.
How?
In terms of being able to
game managing.
Shit, any day of the week besides Sunday, boy.
Joe Burrow's not getting out the pocket and making a play happen. As well as Dak Prescott.
Because he's going to get that shit out before he gets sacked.
Joe Burrow is known not to do that. He holds the ball way too long.
Adrian, who has had a better offensive line in the past 3 years?
Okay, who's been the better quarterback?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Who's had the better wide receivers?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow? That doesn't matter.
How that don't matter.
In terms of putting the ball on the spot to his guys and making a play, I will take Joe Burrow late game over Dak Prescott any day of the week.
I also think the Cowboys have a way better offensive scheme. That's why their offense is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Dak can do more.
Okay, let's move on.
The only thing Dak can do better than Joe Burrow is run. That's literally it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Your Cowboys bias is showing. It is showing.
Dak was MVP last year until Lamar smacked down on the Niners.
Lamar Jackson was 1 vote away from being unanimous MVP again. Dak was not MVP.
Yeah,
Which is fucking bull.
Yeah, he got it once they beat the Niners. That was it. That was a nail in the coffin. But for the whole season, it was Dak.
You mean once he smacked down on the Niners?
Yeah, he beat their ass. But I do have my 4 and 6 spot interchangeable. So I have Joe Burrow at 6. I have these 2 interchangeable.
The Joe Burrow
Dave,
is
hang on.
outrageous.
Before we get to that, Xavier, where do you have Dak Prescott at?
I got him at 4.
That's all right.
I'm fine.
Shit, you look at it and put Stroud in front of this boy, in front of Burrow.
And so now it's getting all over the place. So I have 4. Okay, so 4 I have Josh Allen. Who did you have at 4, Isaiah?
Number 4, I had Josh Allen. Yeah.
Xavier? Yeah, Dak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dak.
And at 5, I had CJ Stroud.
I have Stroud as 5 as well.
He had a really good rookie season. He killed it in the second half. They upgraded their offense. Their defense, I think, is going to get better because they're younger. So I think they're going to have a good team. And the reason why I have – I guess no, you can keep going. Isaiah, who's your 5?
My 5 is Justin Herbert.
Okay.
Just honestly based on pure talent. Obviously, he doesn't have the guys around him anymore that are going to make him get those kind of like top 5 quarterback numbers. But I definitely think he's top 5 talent. And
Well, yeah, that's kind of what we're going off of.
He's better than all the guys I have under him too. So
Jay?
I have Herbert at 6. I had Stroud at 5. I want to remind you guys, Herbert only played 13 games last year. He was dealing with that injury. But before that, in 2022, he threw for 4,800 yards. And then the year before that, he threw for 5,000. In terms of
And he was
athleticism,
good before he got hurt. He was really good.
yes. In terms of athleticism, I have him above Dak as well. I think Dak
Athleticism?
I think you can make the argument that Dak has better decision making than Herbert, just because Herbert interception ratio is not the
He's a
greatest.
gunslinger.
But yeah, I think arm talent wise and even athleticism wise, I think I'd take Herbert over Dak. My Dak argument, the biggest Dak argument I have, is CeeDee Lamb. You guys talk about Dak so much last year that he was the number 2 in MVP voting. CeeDee Lamb had 1,800 yards and 12 of his touchdowns. I mean, CeeDee Lamb had the most ridiculous season I've ever seen him have. And honestly, another big reason I have Dak so low is his defense scored them so many points last year. That defense was top 3 for the majority of the year, especially in fantasy, they were number 1. And especially in playoffs, when we're talking about Dak, he is probably the biggest choke artist I've seen in the playoffs in a long time. I mean, his D. You
But I
guys
don't
talk
think Packers' loss was
Right behind Aaron Rodgers.
25% when it was on.
Yeah.
I'll
And-
say 25%. 75% goes fucking Dan Quinn in that defense. Fucking
Yeah, but
we
the
play
majority
zone,
of
we play
majority of
fucking
the
man
years
all
that Dak has been the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, we've been at least top 5 in offense in majority of the years that he was playing. He makes our offense great.
I think, and this is what I'm saying, we're talking about going into this year. I think in terms of athleticism and arm talent, I would put Stroud and Herbert above him. That's why I have him at 7. I agree with you guys. He's a very great quarterback. I just believe that in terms of playmaking, I'd rather have those 2 guys on my team.
Look, I got Dak at 6, so like I don't have him extremely low. I do think there are 5 quarterbacks better than Dak. That's why I have him at 6. You said Dak makes the offense better. I definitely think he does, but so did Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush went 5-0 with them fucking, last year or 2 years ago? I mean, shit, did he make the fucking Cowboys offense better?
He just played to his role. He's doing what
That's
doing
what
what
Dak does. That's
Purdy's
what we're
doing
trying to
now.
argue there.
To what Dak
We're
does.
saying these other
better.
quarterbacks are able to.
So he does it better. He's playing his role.
Who was person?
I think the playmaking thing is crazy because that is Dak's best part of his game is making a play out of nothing. I do think sometimes his decision making can make a stupid ball. Like sometimes he'll throw it to a DB right to his face.
I think we're kind of blinded about his decision making because last year he was like really, really trying not to throw interceptions, but he throws a lot of interceptions. He does.
He doesn't. He did 1 year. Josh Allen throws interceptions.
Yeah,
Just Herbert throws interceptions.
I'm not trying to back up Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a horrible decision maker too.
He's the worst of them all.
No,
Yeah,
well,
but
you can probably
my biggest argument is arm talent. I'll take those other guys over Dak.
What number are we on?
We're speaking of.
I think we need X's 6.
5. I think we need Xavier's 5.
Yeah, we
I
do.
said
actually.
Burrow was my 5.
Okay.
We talked about 5.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, and so here at 6, this is where I have Joe Burrow. But as I said, it's kind of weird because I could see him and Josh flipping at 4 and 6. I could see those 2 flipping spots. Except I don't think CJ is gonna be better than both of them, but I think he'll be better than one of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I explained how I feel about Joe Burrow. I think he sits in the pocket too long all the time. He's always hurt, and I think he's been overrated ever since he had that good year because he wore cool sunglasses. He's had OD receivers since he was in college. His team, he's always had crazy receivers to throw to. I think he's still good. I still think he's really good.
He had the greatest year of any college football player ever with those receivers.
Okay.
He broke every fucking quarterback record you could think of.
Tim Tebow killed it.
JJ and fucking DeMar.
I don't care about college. We're talking about right now. This is a different level, and I don't like that he sits in that pocket so long. And yeah, it is on his offensive line sometimes, but I think it's just as even as him just waiting too long and just eating a sack. I think sacks are both a quarterback stat and an O-line stat because there's definitely times where it's on the quarterback. I think it is kind of unfair that the O-line gets all of it. But I do think Joe Burrow is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league, and that's why I think he can be that 4 or that 6. It depends on how well Josh plays or CJ.
Yeah, I get what
Here's the argument against. Here's the argument against that. None of us think Herbert's going to have a good team this year, but we all know his arm talent and his athleticism makes him that good of a QB. That was my argument with Stroud and Herbert over Dak. Is I think athleticism-wise, guys.
So are we all listing our quarterback? It's going to sound weird. Are we all listing our quarterbacks off for different reasons? Like,
it's supposed to be.
Are we going to list them on how fucking like?
Because I'll be honest with you, Herbert is not on my list.
Yeah, if we're doing that, then Herbert's not going to be in top 10 if we're going off how their season's going to fucking look. Off of straight up athleticism or talent, he's going to be top 3. Herbert's going to be top 3 in athleticism and talent. Like shit, like it's just.
I thought we were doing a mix of both.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's what I thought too. So like.
That's kind of how I did it. We talked about how they did last year and how they're going to do this year.
Yeah.
But honestly, you gotta include their body of work, and and some quarterbacks are going to be in, especially with Herbert. I think he's obviously in a weird situation, but we know he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You know what I mean? So it gets tricky. It gets tricky with some of these names. But what do you guys have? What do you guys have for your 7? We all got our 6 out, right?
7.
Yeah, who was your guys' 6? I don't remember.
Oh, we didn't go over 6.
I had Joe here. Isaiah, who do you have?
Oh,
I had Dak, Dakota Rain, Prescott.
Joe.
I had Herbert.
Herbert.
This is where I had Stroud. It's either Burrow or Stroud. Like 5 and switch, 6 and switch, but Burrow because seasons.
I like it.
7, I have Jalen Hurts here. But if you're talking about last year and this year, like this is probably where I would put Herbert then. But like Herbert's not gonna have like maybe 3,000 yards. I don't know, but he doesn't have anyone to throw to. Like their offense is not gonna be good. I'd see a huge dump in his numbers this year. I think Hurts will have a fine season. So I'm comfortable with that 7 spot, even though they had a tough ending of the year last year. They definitely fluttered out. But I still think he's a solid quarterback. I don't think he's one of the best, but I think
he's the quarterback that the Eagles need.
Top 10.
The Eagles want and need.
I think it sucks that he can't read a zone. They'd be a lot better if he could read a zone defense.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. That's your 7?
Yep.
My 7 is going to be CJ Stroud. That's where I pop in the young fellow. And obviously, he could make a leap to like a top 5 quarterback, but I just got to see it before I'm going to say like he's definitely above Dak, Herbert, and guys like that. So
respectable. My 7, this is where I threw Dak. I took more of a athleticism route to my list. So this is where I threw Dak at.
Xavier?
My 7 is where I had Herbert.
That's where you had Herbert.
It's because
he's throwing to XFL receivers.
Yeah, I wanted to list Herbert in my top 5, but I just can't because it's hard. I really did want to list Herbert in my top 5.
That's why Herbert was on my honorable mention because I don't see like a killer season for him this year. I see their team probably losing a lot of games.
If we're going off of seasons, yeah, he's an honorable, not probably an honorable mention, but like if this is where talent and fucking season are combining, so therefore.
Yeah, I will put it like that. Herbert's not an honorable mention. There's not 10 quarterbacks in the league better than him.
Yeah.
I guess I was going into like starting the season like who's gonna have the best years. At number 8, I have Jordan Love. I think it really shows. I think it shows his 2 years, like being on the sidelines, learning from Aaron Rodgers. He had a tougher start of the season, his rookie season, I guess. But I think
this last year.
What'd you say?
I said he had a rough first half.
Yeah, he had the rough first half of the year, but then he started picking up, and he showed that he can make some really good throws and read some defenses, and like, yeah, he struggled in the beginning, but I think he really found his stride and found his confidence. I think that's what he was lacking was, this was Aaron Rodgers shit for so long, and now I got to replace him. It's a hard shadow to live up to.
Yeah, it's hard, but shit.
But I think he's gonna have a really good year this next year. They have I don't mind their wide receivers. I think they're not the best, but they're obviously above average, I would say. They're tall, they're fast. They got some decent hands. And then they just got Josh Jacobs. I think he can definitely catch some passes and be a decent running back. He'll be more consistent than Aaron Jones, I think, because Aaron Jones is always getting hurt. So I think I like their offenses coming into the season.
I'd say the problem was Josh Jacobs wasn't very consistent last year.
At all.
Yeah, but that team had no offense.
Yeah, it was just a shit show.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. Zay, who's your 8?
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's my number 8.
Fucking get off the show. All right.
So you want to?
Are we commenting that a little, or is he explaining?
I didn't have Brock Purdy's not in my top 10.
Not my honorable mentions either.
Do I need to explain it? He was fucking. You're talking about how fucking Dak almost won the MVP last year. Shit, Brock Purdy almost won the fucking MVP last year. Brock Purdy's been fucking really fucking good ever since he's been.
I think Brock Purdy's
given the keys. He's been fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, so was Jimmy Garoppolo just as well as him, and look at him now.
Can I say? I think Brock Purdy's doing the bare minimum with that team. Fucking throw anybody else in that driver's seat and it's going stupid. This team's fucking. So I think he's just doing the bare minimum.
Look, here's what
I don't hate Brock Purdy. I don't hate Brock Purdy. He is.
I don't know how much better you want him to be, or like what else you want. The only thing he hasn't done is won the big game. He's fucking phenomenal.
I think there's like at least 1,500
quarterbacks. Yeah, but I bet like not majority, but he has a lot of rack yards on his yards. It's a lot of yards
that's not his fault. It's the team he's on. We all know that.
No, it's not a fault. It's just. Nice.
Fucking Stevie Lamb has a lot of rack yards. That's all he fucking does.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But hey, let me comment.
Does that diminish what Dak Prescott does? No, fuck it doesn't.
Let me comment on Brock Purdy here real quick. He's done his job. You know, he limits his turnovers. He makes the right reads. But I think just because Zay kind of said he was in an MVP conversation, I would argue that Christian McCaffrey had a better case than he did last year. Mm-hmm. I think Brock Purdy, I think there's guys in my honorable mentions that if you plug them into that situation, they could do just as good.
If not better.
In terms of Brock Purdy, I don't see him as that elite playmaker, top 10 guy in my opinion. But I do agree with Zay that he's always making the right reads. He limits his turnovers. Yeah. And you know, in terms of playing a role, he plays it perfectly.
He's an extremely
fair.
And he does what Kyle Shanahan allows him to. Mm-hmm. That is Kyle Shanahan's team.
Yeah, but I don't think if they switch their shit up, I don't think he can do more. I don't think he's doing more than this. Say we put Justin Herbert in that.
What more do you want him to do? You want him to scramble? He doesn't need to scramble.
Again,
what more can he do?
I don't mind Brock Purdy in your top 10 because he's probably one of my first 2 honorable mentions. But number 8 to me seems ridiculous.
Yeah. Not me. I'll tell you who I have after him, and I'm not fucking tripping about either one of them.
All right, well, Jay, who's your number 8?
My number 8 is a guy that everybody seemed to forgot about. You said Jordan Love, but let's talk about the dude that he's trying to replace. I think Aaron Rodgers coming into this year is number 8. I think, you know, he threw for only 3,700 yards, but that was with Allen Lazard as number 1. You know, he has Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams this year. His offensive line's got a little bit better. I expect him to be back well into the 4,000s this year. I expect Aaron Rodgers to be back. And everybody knows Aaron Rodgers is the guy that can make a big play late. Except when you get to the playoffs, obviously. But I think regular season wise, I think you have to throw him in top 10.
Jordan Love is doing like the same receivers.
Jordan Love has Romeo Dobbs and what's his face? Go ahead, Xavier.
Yeah, I was close to putting Aaron Rodgers in my top 10, but I fucking opened my mind a little bit and realized there's gonna be some, and I think you guys are gonna fucking dislike my 10. So, but you see how players come back from injury, and Aaron Rodgers is a great player. Overall, I don't think an injury is going to affect him, but it fucking could. Look how it affected Joe Burrow. Look how it fucking affected Justin Herbert. Those guys are way more athletic than him.
And younger.
Younger, too, yeah. You never know. That's why I didn't put him in my top 10, because I don't know how this shit's going to affect him, especially him not really getting the right procedure on his ankle. Some voodoo shit, whatever the fuck it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, he has a great mind. He definitely. It just depends on how his body treats him. He'll be fine making the decisions. He'll be fine making all that stuff. He'll be fine with that. It just depends on how his body treats him.
I think it kind of gets like.
Yeah, all these are going to be honorable mention. 8 to 10 mentions are going to. I think 8 is all an argument. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just feel like Rodgers been top 10 pretty much his whole career. I don't see there's any reason to throw him out of it. Granted, he only played 2 plays last year, and he is pretty.
He's old.
Whatever it was, but
he's like 40.
he is old. He is old. He's gonna have a lot of expectations on him this year, so that's why I think he will have a good year.
Xavier, who is your 8?
This is where Hurts is.
Jalen Hurts.
That's
fair.
He provides.
We all kind of wanted to do our own thing with number 8, and kind of like, you know what I mean? And you could kind of tell.
Because it was so I had Jordan Love. Who do you have again?
I had Brock Purdy. He had Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Here at number 9, this doesn't look weird too, because I'm expecting going into this next season, like what they're gonna do. I had Jared Goff here at number 9. I think they have a great offense. I think they're gonna have one of the best offenses in the league.
That's fine.
And he's always been like kind of a consistent quarterback. He's been to a Super Bowl. He didn't win, but he's been to a Super Bowl, and like he played well last year. He knows how to do this scheme. I love their weapons, and I don't mind their defense. I think they're gonna be a good team. I think they're gonna put up a lot of points, and I think he's gonna be slinging the rock.
I don't mind that at all. I think Jared Goff's still going to be really fun next year. My number 9 is Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
That is my number 9 as well.
All right. My number 9, which I fucking love this guy, Matthew Stafford.
Okay. That's fair.
He continues to provide every year. It's like more than what the Rams should need. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's especially for his age. He's keeping up. No, he's not keeping up with Rodgers in numbers, but if Rodgers this would be the old guy that we would fucking look up to. You know?
Yeah. I love Stafford a lot. I don't have him at my 10 spot, but I thought about it. But he's getting up to age. I think he's a solid quarterback. He always has been a solid quarterback. He's going to give you 4,000 yards if his arm doesn't give out. But I mean,
for his age,
sideways
arm.
No, he still got that power. He's still got
slinging.
He's slinging. I love the way he puts that thing on a frozen rope. But I just have here at my number 10 spot, I have a guy who I think is going to have a really good bounce back season. And when it comes to athleticism, he's up there with him. I have Kyler Murray at number 10.
Okay, well,
there we go.
And
I have that too.
I think people have forgotten how good this guy was. He led to Arizona to be like a top team, like real contenders. People were scared to play them. I remember being terrified to play them because I thought they're scary.
Loving to know.
Yeah, dude, they were good. And then his team has definitely gone through like kind of a rebuild, and I feel bad for him. But he just got another wide receiver that I think he's going to be throwing the ball to a lot. I don't love their wide receiver room, but I actually don't mind it. And their tight end, Trey McBride, is actually really good. I think he has at least one more guy to throw to now, bringing in Marvin Williams, not Marvin.
It's beating his ass.
Wow.
Marvin Harrison Jr. You got it, buddy.
Wow. That's fine. That's fine.
That's crazy.
Wow. Dude, do you know what the trouble I did to get this guy in Dynasty? And I can't even remember his fucking name. Anyways, yeah, I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. I'm not saying the Cardinals are gonna be like playoff contenders or like a real team, but I think he's gonna have a good statistical year, and I think people are gonna remember who Kyler Murray is.
I don't mind that. If I did have honorable mentions, he would have definitely been in there. I respect Kyler. I think he's a really good quarterback. Yeah, that's your 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my 10 is Jared Goff.
Okay.
I put Jared Goff just because especially last year, I was like, okay, it's time to start putting some respect on this guy's name. Like even though obviously he's just been getting better weapons and his O-line is one of the best, probably the best in the league. He's doing what he has. It's kind of like Purdy for me. He's in a situation where he's surrounded by pieces that are only going to make him better, and he's doing that. He's getting better.
I don't think you can argue it. At my 10 is where I threw Jordan Love. I really loved his second half of the year. I think he's only going to get better, so I have him at 10.
Nice. I had Murray, Murray at 10, but then I spoke about how A-Rod coming off an injury, being like something could change, so therefore I think I'm going to replace him with Goff. So, because I can't be biased like that. Like obviously, Kyler Murray could just be fucking not even able to run the ball no more. You never know.
Yeah.
So I just can't do that to A-Rod. So I'm putting Jared Goff at fucking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want you guys to go through your top 10 real quick, just so viewers kind of have an idea. We'll just go Adrian, Zay, me, Xavier.
Do you guys want to? Well, does anyone have honorable mentions?
Yes.
Our honorable mentions are all just the same. It's the same guys.
I had two guys in honorable mentions that you guys didn't bring up.
I got honorable mentions that you didn't bring up.
I have
pick your top three, and I
have 4 honorable mentions, and it's Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Tua Tagovailoa, and Anthony Richardson.
Ooh, Anthony Richardson is kind of crazy to me.
Honorable mentions for top 10?
Yeah, just because we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him.
In the games he played, I was really impressed. And he's just a freak athlete. I think he's going to be really good. I'm not saying he's going to be top 10, but I'm saying in honorable mention, like he's going to be around that 15, 14 spot.
Sorry. No, I think you're reaching a bit. We've seen him play 4 games. He looked pretty good. He did more running than he did throwing. I don't know. I think he'll be a good quarterback in the league, but I don't think he'll be top.
Faster Josh Allen.
Dave,
okay.
You said a guy? You have a guy?
Yeah, well, it was just going to be K1 and Tua, but he already said Tua, so.
I'm going to throw a crazy honorable mention out here. And honestly,
they are.
Honestly, it's more of a, obviously I have Goff, Stafford, Purdy in there first. But I'm gonna throw T-Law up there. I think
fucking knew it. I have him too.
Yeah, I think T-Law's pretty athletic. I think he can get better as well. And this is a prove it year for him. I think he has to play well.
It is.
I mean, honestly, he doesn't. He just got paid.
I was gonna say, honestly, it's not really it's a prove it year for him in the media, but he just got paid. Yeah.
Yes.
He got paid.
They're not taking his check.
That's right.
That check's not clear.
But that's what I mean by prove it year. I think Jags fans will absolutely kill him if he doesn't have a good year. And then that contract, if he has a down year for like 2 years in a row, trying to get rid of him is going to be really tough for that Jags team. So I think he does have to have a good year, and he can be good as well. We've seen him. I mean, that playoffs game he threw 4 interceptions before he came back, but we've seen him play decently. But $55 million is outrageous. I will say that.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously I did have A-Rod, Tua, Law, and Love. But my 3 names that are gonna fucking do something is Gino, Baker, and Cousins.
Kirk.
I think
Cousins.
I had
Those-
Kirk Cousins too.
Yeah, those three are
I think
at
Gino's
the
better than T-Law.
bottom.
I think those guys are all in the same tier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they're the role playing quarterback. Like, because Baker's gonna
They're
be
the veterans. They're the veterans that you want, though. They're the veterans that
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
I mean, those
Mhm.
teams.
They're not the fuck ups like fucking Russell Wilson. Like they're
Oh, that's funny.
Oh man.
like if Russell Wilson could still play like 50% of what he was on Seattle, it'd be fucking nuts. Like it.
That's honestly probably what he's playing at.
Well, no, he had a
No, 50% of what he was. Like he's playing at fucking -20. If he was playing at like fucking 50% of what he was at Seattle, man.
I would say statistically, he looked good last year, but like
It was a lot of check downs.
eye test. If you watch the Broncos, which a lot of people did, he looked really fucking bad last year.
Also, I'm just saying too, if Tom Brady unretired today, he would be in my top 1 honorable mention.
If Tom Brady unretired today and went where? The Vegas Raiders, or where's he going?
He would go to the Raiders. He said he was like in fucking talks with them, which I was.
If he went to the Raiders right now, I'd put him at 5.
I would too.
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up. He's probably 5 in the honorable mention. If he went to the Raiders, if he went to a better team, he'd be number 1 in my honorable mention.
He throwing to Devontae.
What if he went to the Niners?
If he went to the Niners,
I would honestly,
probably 8.
if Tom Brady went to the Raiders, I'd throw him in at 10. I think he is still a top 10 easily. But I think he retired for a reason.
I'll definitely
Still looks in shape. He would still be playing if he didn't have kids.
Oh man.
Here's my top 10. I have Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Kyler Murray.
Okay. My top 10 was Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Dak, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, and Jared Goff.
My top 10 was Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Stroud, Herbert, Dak, A-Rod, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love.
My top 10 was Patty, Lamar, Allen, Dak, Burrow, Stroud, Herbo, Jalen, Stafford, Goff / Murray.
I will say this: our top 7 were interchangeable. We all had the same top 7 guys in our list.
Yeah.
We just moved them down a little bit. And then, like we said, that 8 through 15 is very tough. I think talking, especially like
I just think there's such a different tier from like the top like 6 people to the bottom half.
You know, we gotta do like something in the midseason where we actually do like the A, the S, like B, like
quarterback
like
tiers?
you got like midseason, yeah. So like we can like rank these like Patty Lamar will be S, and then like what I mean, something like that.
Yeah, I agree
that
with you. I think it's so hard to put a number next to him, but I think if you put a letter next to him, it's so much easier to rank them.
Yeah.
Up next, we have top 10 cornerbacks coming into the league. Here, I'll tell you this though, my 5 and down are all pretty interchangeable to me.
Probably all the same.
Yeah, they're pretty interchangeable to me.
Honestly, to me, my 4 and down are pretty interchangeable to me.
I'll tell you what, my top 2 is a lock.
Yep.
The rest of I mean, there's obviously.
Should we say top 2 in synchronization? From like.
No, it won't be in synchronization.
Oh, never mind. Fuck you. Yeah, you never mind.
Look at this fucking jersey.
I got a fucking Champ Bailey jersey on. I'm not saying Sauce is better than PS2. Hell no.
My number 1 spot, I have Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, no comment.
I got PS2. I mean,
That's
expected.
You guys have Sauce as well, or what?
Yeah, just give you some.
Oh, okay. Here at number 2, this is where I have Patrick Surtain.
Yep.
Be a sauce. Yep.
Obviously, I got Sauce right there.
Here's where it gets interesting.
Here at 3, I have Jalen Ramsey.
So do I. I'm not gonna lie.
Zay?
I think 3 is a little high for Jalen Ramsey. I think Snead was better last year, and Snead will be better next year.
Attaboy.
Jalen Ramsey only played 10 games last year. That's kind of just where I'm at.
Because he's getting old and he's getting injuries. Snead is not.
But here's what I will say. Snead is going to a team that he's going to have to be on the field like 40 minutes a game. I don't think that's
like that defense is going to be trash.
So I think Ramsey is in a better position. That's kind of where that was my thought process on those two. I do have Snead.
Yeah, I mean his position is very dependent on what he does specifically though. So the surrounding pieces obviously aren't going to help him like the Chiefs guys did. But I mean, he's still going to be the same guy. He's just in a different situation. He's still going to guard the number 1 receiver, all that.
I just feel like, he's going to have more receptions thrown his way. I feel like than he did on the Chiefs.
Xavier, who do you have at your 3?
I had Snead, but I'd also like to make a comment that the next guy after Snead, so Snead and this next guy, were the most outstanding guys last season. That's all I gotta say.
I think Snead was the best quarterback last year.
He was.
Yeah, he was the most outstanding, yeah.
Here at number 4, I have L'Jarius Snead going into this next season. That defense that he's on is going to be dookie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not God. You know what I mean? He's got to cover a lot of the field. I think he's a great player, but I think I got him at 4.
That was my thought process, yeah.
Respectable.
Yeah.
So I want to hear Xavier and Zay's 4 then, because me and Adrian have been the same.
You and Adrian's got this? Okay. Zay, you got it?
You got it.
All right. My 4, like I said, Snead and this guy have been outstanding last year. Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson was a fucking stud last year. That Bears defense was a struggle, and he popped out. It was kind of a breakout season.
Yeah.
You know. All right, go ahead, Zay. Yeah, you got that. So
he pretty much led in every statistical category. Like Pro Football Focus, the number 1 ranked cornerback. Like the dude was a stud last year. There's no getting around it. I mean, I don't think he's better than the top 3. The top 3 guys are really fucking good. And I think that he has a chance to be better than maybe 1? Like Snead, could he be better than Snead next year? Absolutely. I do think.
So who do you have, Isaiah?
I had Jalen Johnson at 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So me and Adrian had the same list.
This is where I have Jalen Johnson here at 5.
Yep, that's me too.
My 5 is Big Play Slay. That's my 5.
Damn.
That's way too high.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I agree.
You want to make a comment on it? Why? Like, what's up? Yeah, like, I don't think he played that great. I don't think he played that great last year.
He had a down year last year.
He did.
He had a down year.
This was trash.
Yeah, their whole defense was bad last year. It wasn't. I think something was going on in that room, whether it was a coordinator or what. I'm not sure what it was, but that whole defense was.
I feel like I saw Slay get cooked sometimes.
Yeah, that's bound to happen, bro. Every single one of these guys on this list got cooked last year. They are guarding the best wide receivers in the league. Every game.
Who do you have, Xavier?
I got Jalen Ramsey. It'd feel wrong to leave him outside the top 5.
Okay. Here at number 6, this is where I have Marlon Humphrey.
Ooh.
He kind of had a down year.
He kind of had a down year last year.
He had a down year. He had a down year, but I still like his game. I think he's a great man-to-man player. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He did have a down year, but I just think their defense is going to stay good, and I think he's going to be a focal point in that with Patrick Queen being gone too. So I think he'll really jump off the paper after that.
My 6 is, in my opinion, one of the more underrated guys in the league. I went with Denzel Ward at my 6.
I'm not gonna lie, he's my number 6.
last year, well, actually, in the last 2 years, he hasn't given up a touchdown. And he only played 13 games last year. He was hurt a little bit, but he still had 2 interceptions and 34 tackles. I just feel like he's sneaky underrated for corners.
I think he's good.
He's my
Isaiah, who do
next
you have?
guy.
My 6 is Jalen Ramsey.
Who?
Doesn't make the top 5, but he is 6 comfortably.
Did you
Jalen
say
Ramsey.
that? Okay. Oh, okay. My 6. Trevon Diggs.
Okay, I like it.
I think, yeah, I don't think there's gonna be much. He could be lower, coming off an injury.
It's a tough one because like obviously he's in the hierarchy of better cornerbacks in the league, but he just missed an entire year.
Yeah.
But when like I know nobody's in argument that he probably shouldn't be there. I'm just gonna say this too because I feel like it before and the season before he got injured, he was fucking playing like a stud.
Yeah.
Like he looked way better.
He locked down Justin Jefferson.
Like it looked like a whole new cornerback, and I hope that comes back.
I'll make a comment on Diggs. I have quite a bit of he's a little bit lower just because of that injury for me.
Yeah.
ACL is hard to come back from, especially as a corner. But in his first 2 years, he gave up 9 touchdowns, and then that year you're talking about, he only gave up 3. So everybody always used to talk about how he's always the guy that he'll get a lot of interceptions, but he'll give up the big play. I think he's gotten a lot better at that. So I don't mind him at.
And I think think the ACL thing, modern medicine is amazing now. If you would have tore your ACL in the fucking like barbarian days, they would have chopped your leg off. But now you can come back and be like almost just as good as you were. And I think he's learned a lot from gambling on with those balls. I think he's really learned how to read the defense. How to read the offensive player and know when to strike with that ball hawk mentality. And that's why I have Trayvon Diggs at my 7th spot right here. Coming in.
Fair.
That's definitely fair. Zay, who's your 7? I know you're just sitting back down. Who's your 7?
Sorry. My 7 is Jair Alexander.
That is
the dude's like 26 years old, and for the last like 3 years, he's been one of the better cornerbacks in the league. So I'm gonna keep him there.
CeeDee Lamb cooked him for like 180, 160 or something like that.
Who?
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb was the second.
2 years ago.
Yeah, not last year. The year before.
No, I was gonna say. So last year, Jair Alexander only gave up over 60 in one game, and that was to Cooper Kupp, and that was because it was a 40-yard pass. Otherwise, he held him to 23 yards on 5 receptions in that game. I think Jair is one of the better lockdown corners in the league. And he has to go against the best of the best. He has to go against Justin Jefferson twice. He plays CeeDee Lamb once a year. I think he does very well. He held DJ Moore to 4 yards in 2 games last year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have Jair at my number 7.
This is where I have Ward.
I like that.
Oh, no.
Which one?
Chadarius.
Okay.
Like
this is where I have my Ward. This Ward.
Chardavius?
Yeah, Chardavius. I have a tough time saying his name. I think it was between either of the awards. It was between either of the awards. They're very sleeper DBs, and
they are.
They really are almost the key piece to their defense if it wasn't just for one guy in their way. So,
Here in my 8 spot, I have. I think this guy's kind of sneaky. I think he got some buzz. I think his teammate got some buzz too, but I was really impressed with his season. I'm gonna go with Devon Witherspoon, the Seattle Seahawks. I think he had a really good year. I was very impressed with him. I think he plays that like passion, like he's gonna lock someone up, and I see a big jump from him. I think he's jumped throughout the season, getting better and better. And I think he's gonna keep doing that, and I have him here at this 8th spot.
So my 8th spot, I'm gonna take his teammate that you just mentioned, Rick Woolen. I love him as a corner. I probably could have put him a little higher, to be honest with you, but there was just some names that I didn't feel comfortable putting him over yet, because he's still a really young guy. I mean, even just like Witherspoon, he's only been in the league for a couple of years. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's where I got Tariq Woolen.
Let me go ahead real quick. My number 8 is where I threw Diggs in. I just
Okay.
that ACL.
Who?
Diggs.
Diggs.
Yeah. My number 8 is Trent McDuffie.
Okay.
I thought he impressed me off his breakout season. You know, fuck. I was trying to look up his stats so I could back this up because he really did impress me. You know, Darius Sneed just shined over him. It was like a great DB room.
Trent McDuffie was like almost like their savior in a lot of these plays that could have broken off. He was there.
He played
great man defense and he played great zone.
60 tackles is ridiculous.
60 tackles is
for a corner.
Oh. Yeah, so he had 60 solo tackles and then like 14 assists or something like that. I have the stats here. He only gave up 28. He only gave up 28.6 yards a game last year. And then ESPN had him ranked at number 6 coming into this year. So he is a really young guy. I just have him a little bit lower. He's my number 10. I have him a little lower because he is going to take on a little bit harder of a challenge. He had Sneed last year.
So I'll put him in my honorable mention just because I didn't want 2 Chiefs.
What are we at? This is 9 now?
9.
Yeah.
Here at 9 is where I have Jair Alexander. Just like you said, he plays good defense. He's also has that passion for the game. I remember he fucked us. He had a pick on us in the playoff game, and he was so lit. And I knew he was going to be ready for it because the last time we played him, CD gave him some buckets. But he definitely played. Their defense came out to play, and I think he was a huge catalyst for that. I think he shows these younger guys really how to get into the game, and he can lock down a lot of good players. I think he can get burnt. I think he's not like the most locked down, but I think he's definitely up there.
For my 9, I have 2 names like with a slash.
Hyphen.
And it's because they're both Cowboys. I have Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs right there.
Okay.
And I mean, if you want to be if you want to get picky, I can put Diggs at 9 and Deron Bland at 10. I'm cool with that.
With that, obviously he did the pick 6 record last year. He definitely stepped up when Diggs got out, and he showed that he can guard a QB1 or a wide receiver 1. So I'm fine with that.
I just think after a guy puts up a season like that, it'd be criminal.
You gotta show some love.
Not put him on my top 10.
I don't mind it. Number 9, this is where I have Witherspoon. Slash, when I did the same thing as you, I think those teammates, Seattle, it reminds me of a Legion of Boom. But I just put Witherspoon a little higher, only because in the run game, he had 79 tackles last season. I mean, he's just like it's hard to run on the perimeter against him, so that's why I have him at 9.
Respect it.
This is where I had Denzel Ward.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I already made my comment on him, I believe. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And Adrian?
Here at 10, I have Denzel Ward.
Okay. Fair.
I have him at 10.
Yep.
I kind of gave you my 9 and 10, but since I had the slash in there, I'll give you who I did have at 10. I had Marshawn Lattimore.
He was very close to taking that spot from Denzel Ward.
Yeah. I mean, he's 28 years old, and he's just been consistently really, really good every year he's been in the league.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I couldn't leave him out of my list. He's really good.
Yeah, fuck Denzel Ward. I'm putting Marshawn Lattimore there.
Crazy to me. That's crazy to me. You take one guy that gets burnt compared to the guy who hasn't given up a touchdown in the last 2 years.
No, I'm kidding. Fine. I'm kidding. I'm keeping Denzel. Marshawn, that Saints defense isn't gonna be all that good.
Look at chat.
He's been getting cooked because he's been buying fucking self for his whole career.
Yeah.
Their secondary is dog shit.
I mean, can you name the other Browns corner?
I couldn't name you half the Browns defense because it's like Owusu Kuwamora and shit like that. But I don't know them niggas like that, bro. Hell no.
Yeah, I kind of talked with Xavier a little bit. Here's what I had. My number 10 was Trent McDuffie. I agree with Xavier. I think he had a very good year. Um, I just have him a little bit lower because I think he could struggle early on taking that cornerback one role. Um, but I think he'll settle in really quickly.
I like it.
This is where I got a little struggle, but I focused up. It's fucking Deron Bland.
Yeah.
It's only fair to put him in the top 10 after that season. He had the least amount of yards. I don't know if this is true. Like through like fucking 12 weeks, and it was by a significant number too. It wasn't just by like a 20 yards. It was by a significant.
He was doing that made absolutely no sense last year. Like
it didn't make no sense. So, and obviously with my honorable mentions, I'll say why these other guys just barely lost to. So,
I think. Also, I'll talk about my honorable mentions first here.
Okay.
The majority of mine are just really young guys, in my opinion. I think corners are so deep in this league. My number one honorable mention was AJ Terrell. I thought AJ Terrell had a fantastic season last year. It's just the Falcons. I mean, it's hard with that. And then my second one was Christian Gonzalez from the
Patriots.
Pats. Yeah,
it's a great pick by them.
He's gonna. I mean, and the Pats always have good cornerbacks. It seems like. So I think he's gonna develop into a stud. And then I had Marlon Humphrey, and then my last one, who I just wanted to give a little shout out to because he was hurt last year as well. My last one was Derek Stingley Jr. For the Texans. I think he could step up this year, especially on a defense that needs him to step up for them to play really well this year. I think he's a good honorable mention as well.
I had so first off, my honorable mention, I had Deron Bland.
I forgot. Yeah.
Marshawn Lattimore. I had Javarius Warden, and then I also had a guy who was hurt that I really wish could have played. I had Tre'Davious White. I'm a big fan of Tre'Davious White. I think he's a really good quarterback, and I hope he also tore his ACL too. I think. I hope he can have a bounce back season and come back and play because he is also one of my favorite cornerbacks in the league. I like him a lot. He's often the guy I try to trade for on Madden. I just like his game.
My honorable mentions would just be pretty much the guys you already talked about. I mean, I will give a shout to that young guy out there in Pittsburgh, Joey Porter Jr.
Love that.
He was really good. I watched him. I watched a lot of Steelers games because my cousin's a big Steelers guy, and he got big assignments week after week, and he did really well with them. So.
Look, the thing with Joey Porter Jr. and here's why I even couldn't put him in my honorable mention. I was talking smack to these guys earlier. I think he can be easily a top 10 corner this year. But he didn't start the first 5 or 6 games last year. So I just couldn't throw him in there. I think he needs more experience under his belt. And like he has some of the best stats in the league, but his what's it called? Just the amount of snaps that he's played,
it's not really it's hard to compare it when the volume
the volume.
Yeah.
My honorable mentions, like AJ said, are also going to be young. So let me just get I have like 6. 2 are kind of old. Lattimore and Jair.
Yep.
I'm not going to put them at the very top. Now I'm going to put them at the bottom. They're medium. My opinion. I got Humphrey in there. I got J.C. Horn. I got J. Reed.
Oh, J.C. Horn's good.
J.C. Horn got held back by injuries, man. It sucks. And he was actually doing what Bland did, minus the interceptions.
Yeah.
He was doing what Bland did, honestly, and just my. And this guy, I absolutely love, and I'm kind of jealous that the Lions have him, Brian Branch. He is a linebacker. No, he's like a cornerback /
Yeah, he's a mix.
He's a linebacker playing quarterback, basically. And I'm super jealous of that because he's very mobile, fast, and he just plays the position well.
To me,
he's too big to fucking play that shit.
Yeah. To me, he reminds me of a better Jabril Peppers, if you guys remember Jabril.
Dude, that's what he is.
Of all time.
That's what he is. I
like
Brian
that.
Branch.
Yeah. He's a rookie, so it's gonna be interesting to see actually how much
he made plays in the season. In the playoffs, he was making plays.
Bro,
Yeah.
the playoffs, he was outstanding.
I think he was their best defender. They have Aiden Hutchinson, who had a good year.
Yeah, Branch he's going to be up there, top 5 soon. He's impressive. He's very impressive to me.
He's one of those guys when you're watching the Lions, he pops off the screen on that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Before we do, everybody gives their tops, and I'm glad we did cornerbacks because in my opinion, other than wide receivers, it's probably the deepest position in the league, in my opinion. There's so many good young guys up and coming. And even the older guys like our Jalen Ramsey, L'Jarius Sneed, even Lattimore. Yeah, those guys are still pretty good.
They still got something to say.
So yeah, I think corner you can't really go wrong with who you want in there. Our top 5 were all pretty similar, though. I will say that.
Yeah, I think it's also crazy that these guys are really good cornerbacks, and I think cornerback is the hardest position to play in all of sports.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and our final list for the top 10 cornerbacks, mine is 1, Sauce Gardner, 2, Patrick Surtain, 3, Jalen Ramsey, 4, L'Jarius Sneed, 5, Jalen Johnson, 6, Marlon Humphreys, 7, Trayvon Diggs, 8, Devon Witherspoon, 9, Jair Alexander, and 10, Denzel Ward.
Respectable list. I have the best cornerback in the league at number 1, Patrick Surtain II. Sauce Gardner is number 2. I have L'Jarius Sneed at 3, Jalen Johnson at 4, Big Play Slay at 5. I got Jalen Ramsey at 6, Jair Alexander at 7, Tariq Woolen at 8, Deron Bland / Diggs at 9, and then Lattimore 10, or honorable mention, whatever you want to call it.
Big Play Slay is interesting. I really
He's not in any of our lists or honorable mentions.
I should have put him in my honorable mention. I hope he does have a turnaround year because the Big Play Slay name.
He's fun to watch.
Everybody loves watching him. My 5 is the same as Adrian. I have Sauce, PS2, Jalen Ramsey, L'Jarius Sneed, Jalen Johnson, and then I have Denzel Ward at 6, Jair at 7, Trayvon Diggs at 8. I have Reek and Witherspoon, kind of like the same thing, and then McDuffie is at my 10.
So Sauce, PS2, L'Jarius Sneed, Jalen Johnson, Ramsey, Trevon Diggs, Javarius Ward, McDuffie, Denzel Ward, and Deron Bland. There we go.
Good list, boys.
Good list. Brandon Ayuk has, I guess he demanded a trade, right?
Requested a trade, yeah.
Requested a trade, and because they don't want to pay him his money, which he's a great wide receiver.
But he deserves money. He does.
Does he deserve the money? Yeah, absolutely. I think he's the best wide receiver on their team. I think Debo's overrated. If you could I didn't think of this about actually realistically, but what would be the perfect team to plug him into, to trade for?
Perfect team for Brandon Ayuk.
Perfect team. I don't know.
I would say, and I can go first. If I'm Ayuk, plugging him into a team, I would go with the Bills. I think the Bills, they have Keon Coleman. I really like that draft pick. But if you can give the Bills a number 1, I think that makes that team so fucking good. Because right now the whole question is who is Josh Allen throwing to? That's kind of what their situation is. I think he would fit probably the best with in terms of teams that have a chance. If you plug him in, who has the best chance to go the furthest? I'd probably say the Bills.
Go ahead.
I think the Bills are going to be running a lot of 2 tight end sets with Kincaid and Knox being some of the more main receivers. But yeah, I have the Bills on there. I think Josh Allen just deserves a number 1, an actual NFL wide receiver. You know what I mean? What were you saying, Isaiah?
I was gonna say I like where you guys went with that with the Bills, but I'm gonna keep it in the same division and just pick a different team. I think he would fit really well on the Jets, and I don't think it would hurt the Jets to get another weapon.
But So that,
Which I don't know how the money and everything like
Yeah.
that works, but I mean,
Yeah, I'm kind of just ignoring that because like my number one team is. I mean, honestly, the number one team is the Niners. I think that's their best chance if he's going to get a Super Bowl would be with the Niners, and he fits in their system. But if it was a different team, I'm going with the Ravens. They don't have they have good like gadget guys. Like Zay Flowers is a good receiver. He's like a deep threat. He's not going to go up there and jump a ball. Rashad Bateman is almost kind of the same thing. He's kind of a deep threat. Brandon Ayuk will go up and get that ball. He runs great routes. He knows how to get in soft spots and zones. And I think it'd be great for Lamar Jackson to have a guy like that. I think he'd fit in perfect with their pressure to run the ball by the quarterback and the running back or throw it to him. I think that'd be an unstoppable offense.
yeah, if we're talking best fit other than the 49ers, that's it, 100%.
What do you have, Xavier?
What do you think?
I think mine are just a little bit kind of interesting. They're not as strong. You guys can have a stronger argument. Mine,
perfect case scenarios.
Yeah, mine is my number one is probably going to be Packers. My number two, probably Jacksonville, and then number three, Cardinals. I think Cardinals could use a guy like him, just kind of put him in front of Marvin Harrison, and just they're both going to be competing for that wide receiver one spot, but
It'd be nice for Marvin not to have to go against CB1s every game for his whole rookie year.
What I like about your three teams is that if he was to actually get traded,
they're realistic.
It would probably be more likely one of those teams than it would be a Ravens or a Bills.
Yeah, I think Jordan Love with Brandon Ayuk would actually be Devontae and fucking Aaron Rodgers.
The only weird thing about that is the Packers have three young receivers that are all
and they're
they can't count them out yet, so it's fair if they don't want to get them. So yeah, it's fair.
I love that Cardinals and Jacksonville. Those are two teams that I think actually have the money to go get him.
And really,
I'm gonna throw my team out there. We have the money to get him. The Steelers. I think if you
I was good. That's my five before.
I think if you put him with George Pickens, those two battling for the 1 and 2, I don't care who the hell you put in the slot. I think I'd rather have Pickens outside just because of that back shoulder ball.
Yeah.
But if you throw him on the Steelers, then we don't have to worry. It's the same situation as Marvin Harrison. You don't have to worry about Pickens going against the number one every single week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot of teams that Ayuk could fit in. He's definitely, in my opinion, easily top 20. Some people would argue top 10. Adrian's low on Debo. I think I like Debo a little more just because of his run game.
Debo's not overrated. Debo gets hurt too much. There's a difference.
But yeah, like I was saying, Brandon Ayuk, I think he fits so many teams. I think any team would love to have him. I don't know his whole situation. I don't know if he's just asking for more money, guaranteed money or something like that. But he did demand that trade. And in terms of teams that can go out and get him, I like Xavier's teams a lot. I will say that.
That's right.
I think that calls it for football. Xavier, you can stick around or not if you want. See you later.
I'm out.
Thanks for joining us.
It was nice being here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Honor to be part of
We'll have to have you come next week so we can do the draft.
Honor being part of episode 7.
Hey.
Don't worry. Once I get big, I'll shout y'all out. You know what I'm saying?
Heard.
All right. Well, I will just talk to y'all when I talk to y'all. So.
Nice having you.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's talk about this USA basketball team. This super team.
Underwhelming, right?
Huh?
Underwhelming, right?
Yeah, they played 5
Infinity Stones on the hand, and they're almost blowing a game to Sudan. They're almost losing to who was it? It was Germany, and they had a closer game with another team.
Australia.
Yeah, Josh Giddey going crazy. No Diddy. But anyways, it's kind of underwhelming. I was expecting 40-point blowout. I mean, maybe once it becomes the real deal, it's about to, maybe they'll really kick it in and really, I don't know, really come together and start whooping some ass like we're expecting.
Okay, so I'll comment. I'll comment on it a little bit. I have a lot to say about this Olympic team, so I'll give Zay some room to speak as well. They went 5-0 in their tune-up games. It didn't look pretty. But the one thing I want to point out before I start bashing them a lot is Kevin Durant hasn't played a single game. We're still missing one of the best players in the world. I think he fills our rotation a little better. I think he will be a starter. So yeah, I think games will be close in the Olympics. Everybody's going to bring it up a notch. I think Canada's going to get a lot better with Shea and RJ Barrett. I think France with Wemby and Gobert are going to be pretty good. And then Germany, for some reason, always has a decent team. Dennis Schroeder decides he's a legend in the Olympics, even though he can't stay in the NBA. But yeah, I think watching these last few games, they look terrible, but they always turn it up in the fourth, which is weird. It's kind of like an all-star game, in my opinion, every single time I see him play, where they finally sit down on defense late in the game and get away from teams.
It's odd to say that I think an MVP caliber player is like kind of selling for him, like just doesn't fit Joel Embiid. I think he makes him so much worse when he's out there. He's not changing his game to fit with these other all-star like star players. He's still trying to be 76ers Joel Embiid, and it's making it bad.
The reason why
that's so offense, he's not the best on defense. I think when you bring in Anthony Davis and Bam, they're clamping shit down, and you still have the offense from him too. Like Joel Embiid is like playing his way out of the team.
No, one of the games that I watched like full intent was I think it was one of the first games. I mean, but it's like you said, man, the Joel Embiid thing is crazy because when Anthony Davis specifically, obviously Bam is a very versatile defender, 1 through 5. But Anthony Davis looks like a new man out there, bro. Like obviously he's one of the better defenders in the league, but like that dude is out there like, yeah, not down here, bro. You gonna have to maybe when I get on the bench, but not down here, bro. Like I'm pretty sure it was against Serbia, actually. Bro, I watched him get like 6 blocks and 4 of them were like in a row. I'm like, bro, this dude's out here on smoke. But also, what I will say about Team USA as a whole, you said they're 5-0 in their games. Like the Eagles were like 11-0 last year, remember? And it didn't look pretty. It was ugly. And they face the consequences of that. So I'm
worried.
I'm worried. It would be an understatement to say that I'm worried.
I think if they played Bam over Embiid a lot more, I think they would be dominating because that switchability that happens between Bam and Anthony Davis on any pick and roll, they're always going to be switching on any guys, and they're always going to be at least one of them roaming to beat that shit.
They look like a better team when Bam and AD are on the court rather than Joel. They look like something like you can tell that they're trying to fit around Joel rather than Joel trying to fit in with everyone.
I wouldn't say it's that. I think Joel's trying to make himself a centerpiece, and it's just not working very well.
Sure, I'm gonna absolutely grill this USA team real quickly, and it's not even the players on the team because they are the best players in the world. You know what I mean? There's only a few guys on other countries like a Jokic and a Shea and a Wemby maybe that you could compare these guys to. Before this Olympics, it was always Coach K, Coach Krzyzewski. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he was the Duke coach. And that USA team was dominant. They'd win games by 15, 16 all the time. Steve Kerr is absolutely atrocious with his offensive lineups. His offensive lineups have been terrible. We've had 3 games now going into the fourth quarter where we are losing. We've had 3 games going into halftime where we are losing. Steve Kerr, he's trying to play a small ball lineup with Steph Curry, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker at the 3. Why are we playing Devin Booker at the starting? Like, what are we doing, Steve Kerr? And then, like you guys are saying with Joel, to win that South Sudan game in the final 5 minutes, we had to have this lineup. We had Steph, Drew Holiday, LeBron, AD, and Bam. That is our best defensive lineup that we have. And Steve Kerr, it just feels like to me he's just throwing guys out there because he thinks we can beat anybody. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. I hate that Devin Booker's in the starting lineup. I'd much rather have a Jason Tatum. Kevin Durant might be in the starting lineup. But why are we playing small ball against these teams, especially like a France? When we run into France, that team is huge. That team is massive. Steve Kerr has been absolutely atrocious to me. I think his rotations have been garbage. I'd start Ant over Booker too if you do want to play that small ball lineup.
Anthony should be starting.
And then I also noticed that he took in these last few games, he's been playing Derek White over Halliburton. Like, what do we like? I don't understand it, Steve Kerr. I really don't. I'm not a fan of his offensive schemes. And this when you have a team that has to be led by 40-year-old LeBron, when you have all these young guys on your team. I mean, LeBron's averaging 23, 6, and 7. That's not like normal numbers in Olympic basketball. Normally in Olympic basketball, you have
it's like 15.
You have 5 or 6 guys that all average around 50. LeBron is carrying this team late. He has to take the last shots. He has to close out games, and that's not what you want. That's not what you want at all.
Yeah.
This team should be dominating, and like Zay said, I am very nervous about Steve Kerr's decision making come Olympic time, especially when we get like semifinals and quarterfinals and stuff like that.
I feel like once it gets serious, LeBron's going to put his foot down.
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
But we're in 2 games.
I might bet on them to lose.
No, I'm saying LeBron's going to put his foot down and tell Steve Kerr, "You're not coaching this shit no more. We're doing what I'm saying."
Yeah. I mean, the only two guys that I have consistently been impressed with is Steph Curry and LeBron, and that's like
and Anthony Davis. Anthony
Davis. Anthony Davis needs to be a starter. Joel should not be a starter.
Anthony Edwards too. I'm not going to leave Anthony Edwards out of that. Every time I've seen
him, but I do. The only reason I kind of like Ant off the bench is he leads that second unit. He leads it pretty well. But like I said, this Devin Booker in the starting rotation is garbage. Joel in the starting rotation, garbage. But you can't keep playing this small ball lineup. And Steve Kerr has been atrocious to me. I mean, he better figure it out. That's all I got to say. Otherwise, I agree with Zay. I could see them losing a game.
The only thing I'll touch on is like the Halliburton, Derek White thing. The Team USA doesn't need offense. They need defense. So that's probably the only reason why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But honestly, fuck that. Apparently, they do need offense because
I don't think it's the offense, like whole offense. I think they need playmaking. They need playmaking because a lot of these guys are, they're number ones and shit like that. They need playmakers, and a backcourt of Tyrese Halliburton and Steph Curry would be dope. Like, it is dope. Like, that's sick.
Well, that's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying a backcourt off your bench with Tyrese and Ant is what is. And you could start Ant too. You could. There's so many rotations that I like so much better than the starting lineup he has produced.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. I really don't. Let's get to the women's team who is going to dominate every game by 20 to 30. This is going to be led by Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart. I don't know, Adrian, how much you've seen them play. I'm not sure. If you watched the All-Star game.
Didn't they just lose the All-Star game?
They did. They did just lose the All-Star game, and I'm going to kill their coach too. But I'll let you guys kind of comment on what you thought about the All-Star game first, and then I'll kind of tell you how the Olympics should go in my mind.
And the one thing I'll say about the All-Star game is they left the wrong motherfucker off the team, and she showed. I don't want to be disrespectful because I have no idea how to say her name, but I know she's a fucking hooper, and they shouldn't have left her off the team.
I think it's kind of political, or I guess it's kind of them just being a little bit too honorable.
No,
Deanna Taurasi should be on the coaching staff.
Political. It's 100% political. She's the girl I'm talking of that dropped like 20-something on them.
No, I'm saying, she should be on the squad. I'm saying Deanna Taurasi should be on the coaching staff.
Now let me get into this a little bit because this pisses me off so much. This is the most political decision I've ever seen in my life. Not only is Diana Taurasi on this team, she was a starter for them. That doesn't make any sense. You have Sabrina Ionescu and Kelsey Plum on your bench underneath Diana Taurasi. That is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. And the girl you're referring to is Arike Gumbalawe. Her last name is a little hard to pronounce. She dropped 34 on their heads. She went 8 for 13 from 3. She could do it. She looked and here's what I want to say. This is like leaving Ant Edwards off the team so you can have Chris Paul because he's played in so many games. Diana Taurasi does not belong on this team at all. I get it. She's played in 4 Olympics before. If she wins the gold medal, she sets the rest. She breaks Sue Bird's record, like whatever. But you can't play her. You can't. Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart are going to win them the gold. But honestly, I would not be surprised if they have closer games than people are imagining just because of our head coach decision making. Like her name, I think her name is Cheryl Moore or something like that.
Cheryl Miller?
Yeah, Cheryl Miller. She's publicly bashed Caitlin Clark. She publicly bashed the rookies in this league. She hates young players, which doesn't make any. How is our Olympic team ever going to grow if you keep going back to the same 42-year-old trash cans? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. I think both of the coaching decisions are both of the coaches that were selected to these national teams are garbage. I'd much rather have like Eric Spoelstra, a guy that's been in it, done in it. Like Steve Kerr, okay, but like Spo's on that Coach K roster.
Spo's on the staff.
He should be head coach. That's all I gotta say. Then he should be head coach. I mean, he's been there, he's done that. I don't know. I think both of these coaching decisions have been absolutely garbage.
I'll say this: the greatest Olympic basketball team of all time had a rookie who probably didn't deserve to be there, and they're still the greatest team of all time. So I think, I think it's stupid how they're prioritizing old people who aren't great and not putting the young people in there who deserve to be in there.
And I'm glad she put 34 on their heads. I'm so happy she did. I really am. Head top the entire game. She proved her point.
Bro, hella contested shots too. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Caitlin dropped 10 assists. She showed she's a better, kind of like Halliburton. She'd be the easiest. Kind of like Halliburton. She'd be the best playmaker on that team in terms of getting people the ball. And Diana Taurasi is just slow. She's old, and she doesn't do like. I'm fine with you having her on the team as long as you only play her 7 minutes a game. There's no reason Sabrina Ionescu and Kelsey Plum should not be.
Shouldn't come off the bench.
That's all I gotta say.
That makes no sense.
Yes. Sorry, but that's about all I have with those Olympic teams. They've pissed me off in the past few days. I watched them. They played like Germany or something as well, and they beat them by like 20 or so. They beat them handedly, but Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart both went for like 30. I mean, they're going to win the gold. But yeah, it seems very political on the women's side, and then the men's side, I just feel like rotation-wise, they've been absolutely terrible.
All right, that's the show. It's our longest one by far, and
if you watched the entirety of it, thank you.
You're a fucking legend. Honestly, comment, don't comment, but it don't matter.
Doesn't matter. We ain't lying.
Again, appreciate you spending your time with us. We out.